Republicans are panicking over a Civil War era law that might end up costing them the state of Arizona. Now, I'm not talking about the insurrection law that would keep insurrectionists off the ballots. No, no. I'm actually talking about a near total abortion ban from 1864. Now, hold on. I thought Republicans wanted to ban abortion. Well, they do. They just don't want to have the electoral consequences for banning abortion, which is kind of funny because they talk about consequences like, you should take responsibility for your actions and have that baby. Well, what's wrong? You don't want to take responsibility for this law being on the books and actually being codified twice? Now, look, the Arizona Supreme Court on Tuesday allowed this 1864 law to be enforced in the state because they never got rid of it. This law actually makes abortion a felony punishable by 2 to 5 years in prison for anyone who performs one or helps a woman obtain one. So this would jail doctors, medical professionals. The law also outlaws abortion from the moment of conception, but includes a small exception to save the life of the mother. Oh, well, how magnanimous of them, right? So no, wait a minute. 1864. Wasn't that before Arizona became a state? Why, yes. Yes, it is. So how can it apply even though Arizona was not a state? It was a territory back then. Well, as I mentioned, it was codified twice in 1901 and 1913, and then it was never repealed. Now, that said, once Roe was on the books, Roe superseded it, and so all these state abortion bans actually were nullified by Roe v. Wade. But since the Supreme Court got rid of it, overturned it, now these state laws come into effect. So now an appellate court had ruled last year that this could remain on the books as long as it harmonized with a 2022 law. That led to a lot of confusion, naturally. So the 2022 law bans abortion at 15 weeks. So now it turns out that it did not harmonize with this law. The 1864 law actually superseded it. So that means that if allowed to go into effect, and it doesn't instantly go into effect, but once it does, Arizona will effectively ban abortion. Well, I mean, there you go. So now the Arizona Supreme Court said it would put its decision on hold for 14 days, writing that it would send the case back to a lower court so that court could consider additional constitutional challenges that have yet to be cleared up. That should be interesting. So I give you all the context, and now I give you the Republican freak-out. Okay, so now it turns out abortion bans, not exactly popular. We've seen this in some of the more recent elections, like the midterms, for example. And now this is happening in in an election year, a presidential election year. Oh, that's not good. And so Stan Barnes, a Republican consultant, former member of the state legislature of Arizona, told the Washington Post, quote, "I'm trying to think of when there was a more stunning political phenomenon injected into an election cycle, and I can't think of one. It's just a powerful change in the political landscape leading up to the 2024 general election." Yes. Now, you have Republican operative Max Foes said the state Supreme Court decision will, quote, "definitely give Biden a leg up going into the election." If we look at it, it's like 9% of the electorate of Republican swing voters. That represents 234,000 people. They just slummed those people over to Biden's corner. To which I say, whoopsie. Oh, sad. Baby. So that said, speaking of Donald Trump, the fact that this is very unpopular is not lost on the former president.
The will of the people is what I've been saying on a very consistent. So for 52 years, people have wanted to end Roe v. Wade to get it back to the states. We did that. It was an incredible thing. It's an incredible achievement. We did that. And now the states have it. And the states are putting out what they want. It's the will of the people. So Florida's probably going to change. Arizona is going to definitely change. Everybody wants that to happen. And you're getting the will of the people. Pretty amazing.
That's the will of the people. It's the will of the people. Look, I got rid of Roe, okay, because everybody wanted to get rid of Roe. No, most people wanted to keep Roe. In fact, Roe was the majority position, and the Supreme Court's like, yeah, I don't really care. Don't really care about the will of the people. We're going to get rid of it anyway, because that's what we were mandated to do. But no. Trump says it's okay, though. It's states' rights, will of the people. Look, the people don't want a full abortion ban in Arizona, so they're going to change it back. And they're probably going to change it back in Florida, too, so don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Okay. But it's not just Donald Trump, okay? Even Carrie Lake is not for this, is against this, right? She called for the decision to be halted, saying on Tuesday, quote, "I oppose today's ruling." She then called on the legislature to come up with an immediate common sense solution that Arizonans can support. Wait, I thought you liked the full abortion ban. And I'll give you her quote later. I wonder if this change might have something to do with her election being on the line. Might be. There's more. Matt Grass, a Republican state representative in Arizona, said this decision cannot stand. I categorically reject rolling back the clock to a time when slavery was still legal and we could lock up women and doctors because of an abortion. Wait, but that's been the Republican position the whole time. That's what you wanted to do. That's what you wanted the states' rights for. And now they're like, oh no, I can't believe we got what we wanted. Oh no, and it turns out it's super unpopular. Oh no! Yes, I know, that's what happens. There's more. TJ Shop, a Republican state senator, said, today's Arizona Supreme Court decision reinstating an Arizona territorial era ban on all abortions for more than 150 years ago is disappointing, to say the least. Disappointing. Oh, really? Wait, you think that's disappointing? Disappointed! Are you sure? Are you sure? Because I'm going to show you how disingenuous these people are. Going back to Carrie Lake, right? She called this ban on a podcast, quote, a great law. Can't wait for this near total abortion ban. It's a great law from 1864. David Schweikart, an Arizona congressman who is currently facing one of the most competitive House races in the country in November, said on Tuesday that he does not support the ruling and wants the state legislature to address the issue immediately. But back in 2022, he was talking about something different. He actually said that the fall of Roe pleased him so that, they can go and ban abortion. Because on the day that Roe fell, the Arizona Republican-controlled Senate released a statement declaring gleefully that the 1864 ban was in effect immediately. Interesting. These a-holes are out there playing it both ways. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too, right? They love the idea of the abortion ban, right? Because it galvanized their single issue voters, okay? The right-wing so-called pro-life people, right? But now, since the majority of people are like, hey, wait a minute, we're not in favor of abortion bans. We actually liked Roe, okay? We actually liked that there were some guidelines there, right? And those were common sense guidelines based on medical information, based on the viability of a fetus, okay? We don't like the near and total abortion bans that are happening now. And Republicans have lost elections as a result of them. And so now Republicans are like, the thing that we supported, turns out we don't actually support it anymore because we lose. And so reverse position, 180, and that really does tell you that they were never pro-life to begin with. No, it was all about getting votes. It's all about getting elections, winning elections, and of course, as always, about controlling other people.